Let the record show all commissioners are present. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next, we don't have any citizens comments, so next will be public hearing of proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2015-2016.
The rate that we proposed last week. I mean, it's gonna, the way it looks, it's gonna cover everything that we have, so there's no need to do anything to the rate.
Well, the overall rate remains the same, 1.998. There was a reallocation of the rate between the interest and sinking fund and the general fund, but the overall rate remains the same.
Okay.
What was the what's the word I'm looking for? When they calculate the tax rate? The
Effective rate?
Effective rate.
It was around 47, I believe, 47.6 or
47.
I don't have the numbers with me. And so it would have dropped because the valuations increased.
But at the end of the day, our rate is remaining the same, and again, and this is what the, they go here 12, so 16 weeks.
Well, if you recall, last year there was an
But
increase.
because of the,
in
but
rate
because of the library, but that was something that was voted on by the voters.
Right.
What action needs to be taken on this? Do we need to say?
Nothing.
You're just required to have
Just
two
a
public
hearing.
hearings on the tax rate because you're essentially collecting more dollars utilizing the same rate.
But there's no action.
No.
It needs to be taken.
Any other question? All right, next we have a budget hearing.
You open the hearing.
We need to open and close the hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody against or for, or any that want to speak on the public hearing? If not, then this public hearing is closed. Thank you. All right, next we have a public hearing for the budget. Open the hearing for the budget. Anybody want to make a comment on the audience?
Judge, we have
Go ahead.
an item. Make item 18. That's part of this budget. Can we just move it up? That we have to, I mean, it's regarding salaries. That was, I mean, it seemed like we just take care of it now.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Judge Lopez says discuss possible action regarding beginning salary for clerks on JP Court Precinct 4. Come on up.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, everybody else present. Good morning to everyone. I'm just here to request you would let me keep the beginning salary that y'all granted me back in February 9th for my clerical positions. I'm not asking for anything extra, just that you let me keep what you granted me, and I really appreciate Commissioner Owens for making the motion, second by Commissioner Ramiro, and then getting a unanimous vote in favor of my request back in February. And that encouraged me, y'all's decision encouraged me even more to cross-train my clerks based on the fact that I only have 2 clerks. So Commissioner, that's all I'm asking, just that that you allow me to keep what you gave me back in February.
What do you got an individual lead?
Yes,
And
love was
you're
in the
looking
air.
to promote your existing one into that position?
Yes, sir.
What is the starting on that position?
$22,202.50.
And on the policy manual, it says what on a promotion? Is it 5%?
5% or
Of their
you,
current salary?
5% of the current salary.
What's her current
or
salary?
the base of the new.
What's her current salary?
It's 20,000.
$20,963.38, but with that, well, her current salary is $20,963.38.
So the policy manual says 5% of the base pay then, in the event that
That's in the event that,
their current salary is less.
yes.
Correct. So it would take her to 22,010.38. 5% would take her to 22,010.
$22,011.54.
Man, you're on today.
They've been adding all weekend. What page are you on?
I'm sorry, 127 of 162.
That base pay that you're looking at there is not the current base pay. That base pay that you're looking at is the effective base pay
With the 3.7.
with the 3.75, which if adopted would take place October the 1st. So that base pay that you're looking at right there is not the current base pay.
The 22 is not? It'll go to,
22,202.
is the real base pay, the new one, the old one.
That's the recommended increase in base pay.
So it would be 5% above there.
No, that's not the current base pay.
The $22,202.50 is with the 3.75 that was recommended.
Recommended. So if this budget is adopted, that would be the new base pay for the next fiscal year. The current base pay is not that right now.
Oh, that's right, we're working off of this year's budget. The current base pay is 21.
Remember we moved all base pays up 3.7.
I didn't bring up the current budget.
I've got it right here.
This one? The current budget, yeah.
I've got it. 2963 and 38 is where she is currently.
That's her current pay. What's the base pay for the chief deputy?
For the chief deputy is 21,400.
That's the base pay.
Okay, but we weren't gonna take her down, were we?
This is the same problem. If you open up this can of worms again, you might as well throw this salary structure out.
No, I agree.
I believe that we need to follow the process. I mean, if we're doing something for somebody, we gotta do it across the board.
Yep.
So we need to stick with what we've been talking about.
Well, but she
I will
would
make-
get $20,963.38 is what she would be making now.
That's what her current pay is.
20,000.
And 5% would be the $22,011.54.
But they're getting 5%.
They get 5%. If their current pay is less than the base pay of the new position, they get the base pay of the new position plus 5%, according to our policy manual.
That's correct.
I will make a motion that that will be the pay for that position.
22,
Whatever the base pay is, whatever the policy manual says, that's what the pay will be.
What we're just saying, just to make it perfect, it'd be the 21,400 because we've not adopted.
We haven't adopted this
Okay.
budget.
So it'd be the 21,400, which that's what you said the base pay was.
Correct,
Is that right?
currently.
And she currently makes less than that, right?
Because she's
Yes.
not in that position yet.
Yes.
Or
I'll
she
second that
is-
motion.
So, okay, you seconded it?
Mhm.
So it would be 5% added to the 21,000. I'm just trying to make sure that we all
That's what our
understand.
policy manual says. on our
So
policy.
she would go to $22,470.
And then in the new budget, she would get the cost of living increase based off of that, right?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we're doing in the next budget cycle, which is, she's within that one that falls under the 1,500.
1,500.
Right.
So it would be 22,470 plus 1,500 would be the new base salary.
Well, not base salary,
Not,
her
would be
pay.
her base salary,
The current position makes less than the base pay, right?
correct.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any other questions?
Did you get all that?
I think so.
What it's
If I
going
could get
to-
if I could just get it all in one,
Well, basically.
Follow what the policy manual says.
so we're not deviating, we're not changing anything.
Whatever the policy manual says for that promotion, that's what we're following.
Okay.
And
So
I'll
there is
amend
no
my
deviation.
motion to say whatever the policy manual says for that promotion, we will follow that.
Second accept.
Second, okay. Okay, any other questions?
So there will be no change in the base pay. until this
We're not
budget
doing
cycle goes
anything.
through.
we're
In the
talking,
basement.
are you talking about the, my deputy clerk
Yes,
or the chief deputy
the
clerk?
chief, where Monica's moved to.
We're,
Okay, and the deputy
if
clerk.
we adopt this budget, then all of that changes, but right now, we're working under the current budget. We will follow what the current policy manual says under the current budget.
Okay.
That applies for the deputy clerk too? Cliff?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions? Discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? back to,
We're still on.
still on 7.
In this proposed budget, we have another line item for another note on interest and sinking.
Yes.
Do you need direction as to how we're going to use that money or how much that money's going to be? Or can that be
Yeah,
later?
that doesn't have to take place now. I just put that in there as an anticipated payment, and depending on the amount of capital purchases that you want to make, we'll make the note fit that payment.
So no action needs to be taken on
We, under your line of credit down there, Frank, you have livestock pens at 60, that's 175, we're gonna have to make that up. I didn't see it anywhere else in here.
It's
So
not anywhere else in there.
we have to make that difference up.
Yeah, I know that the discussion was the 115 that was, we had originally put in one of the first budgets for the Frontera Road.
Mhm.
Since that is going to be made up with, what I did with that 115 is I moved it up into contingency. So that 115,000 is within that $500,000 contingency number. So we could reduce that contingency number by that 115, add it to that livestock pen, there'd be $175,000.
How much available are we gonna have in the interest and sinking fund to issue debt? That whole 2.3 million or what?
That's what I'm anticipating you'll have at the end of the next fiscal year.
That we would have available in issuing of debt if we chose to. I mean, we don't have to use it, but that's what should be available.
That's correct. What you should have at the beginning of this fiscal, this next fiscal year is about 3.2 million. So since we reduced the rate, but we didn't reduce the line of credit, and we added a tax note on there, that's why the 3.2 million will drop about $1 million to the 2.3 at the end of the 2015-2016 fiscal year.
So we still have a $910,000 line of credit in there.
Yes,
And with that, we still have available the extra.
Yes,
So we can
correct.
make up that shortfall in the pins either through a tax note when we do it or something.
that's what I'd recommend.
The
Or
tax
we
note or
can-
the contingency?
Add the tax note,
Yeah, I would prefer to add it.
and so whatever capital expenditure y'all, the precincts want to make, add whatever that difference is to that tax note, would just be a cleaner way to do it.
Because do you know, Commissioner Ramon, when you would need the money for the water line project? It'll be a few months, won't it?
Yeah, we're starting with the pre-construction meeting this week. So it'll probably be within the month that we will start actually buying, right, Carl?
I would say that you would need that tax or whatever funds, additional funds to complete that. Maybe at the very earliest, towards the end of this year.
But we've got the other money.
We're gonna
I mean,
use
this
all
could come in
the,
at the end.
we're gonna use all the,
Well, what I meant was is the 175 we gotta spend now. We gotta have that money available because we're gonna close on that in the next 30 days.
yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to fit it in.
Well, we could
What I was
do it.
saying is reduce one of the others, so we have the 175 available, and then add the others to the tax note to cover the, since you have to have that money now. The settlement and the pins, we need available now.
The settlement basically has already been paid, and so that money has been expended at this point.
Oh, okay.
And so really that $400,000 that you have in the settlement category there has already been spent.
Okay, so it don't no longer
So you
exist.
could take that $400,000 out and move it within that line.
Okay, so the money's available to go ahead and close the deal and leave everything else the way it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Frank, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Are you finished?
I have more, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll get the money in a minute.
On that SL 79, the money available, $241,051.85. Can it be used for the project that we're anticipating to do with 5 million grant that you're going to get, use some of it and then reimburse when we do get the grant?
I haven't actually put a call into our bond council to see if that's available. I don't know if the
We
county
still-
attorney did, but-
I still have stuff left that we need to finish in that project.
Pardon?
I still have stuff left that we took out of the contract to keep it down. There's some culverts we need to replace and some other stuff that we need to do that we took out of the contract because the price was gonna be too high, that we still need to do as part of that particular project.
So, I mean, that $241,000 is what's remaining in there. If you use $50,000 for that project, then you're still gonna have available $190 or so thousand that you should be, I believe you should be able to use it for that base, the west interest in the
Yeah,
base.
what they want to use it
Kinda
for
connected
is
to
actually the
that.
engineering cost. I think it's $75,000 and then reimbursed when they do get the grant. And what it is to design the rejection lanes that go into that.
Mhm.
That's what they want to use.
I'll have some numbers together here shortly on what we have left that we need to finish over there. And then once I get the numbers, then we'll know I don't know how much money we need for that other project.
According to the group that I'm working with, the base people, they anticipate we upfront about $75,000 and then we get reimbursed when we do get the grant. So
Yeah, I just don't know if we can use bond funds
Yeah.
in that manner. If we're gonna get reimbursed, then we can use it out of a different place.
I thought there was some matching monies that we had to do on the west gate.
We haven't got the grant approved yet, so I don't know what those numbers are.
no, I don't think there's any matching. I think what it is there a lot of in-kind services that we can provide as a, in lieu of match.
I'll put a call into the bond council
Okay.
to see if that's a possibility.
Thank you.
Right. What percentage of collection are you using on the EggOn in Texas?
92.
92. And on the hot tax, we're only budgeting $3,875 revenue?
15,000. Oh, what you're looking at, well, the overall,
General fund.
yeah, that's the administrative portion.
Okay.
of the-
Yeah, the
Right
one-
now, all I put in is a $15,000 collection on hot tax. Since I don't think we still got any letters out, and nothing has been done.
We haven't sent anything.
But I'm aware of.
Who was supposed to send those? I don't remember what we decided.
The B had actually, B was gonna sit down and make a
I
list
did.
of everybody.
I did
Last year.
send out letters,
Oh,
but the responses are the ones that are kind of negative, so I do need some help with that.
And I
we
think
get
Mr.
a-
Rocha was, I think the judge was gonna ask Mr. Rocha already, with Linebarger to look into it. And you actually said that you would look into it.
Why are we also allocating the $42,000 for the Madison group? I thought we were done with that.
My understanding was that it was each and every year.
It's an annual deal.
We're gonna continue paying them? $42,000. As far as new employees, Frank, the only ones we're adding are the 3 firefighters
That's correct.
to the whole budget.
And what you have in front of you right now, that's correct.
Okay. And that brings a question, Counselor. Now that we're going in a different direction, starting something new with the fire department, the 3 salaried employees and then the call, paper call. I know we have sharing with other counties, cooperative sharing or
Interlocal
or
agreements.
agreements, whenever they need help, we'll go. Of course, yesterday, I believe they were out at Edwards County, Jerry, and vice versa. But can a salaried employee paid by tax dollars be used during his working hours outside the county of Val Verde?
If you have an interlocal agreement, sure.
And the same with the equipment? Okay.
That's the purpose of the interlocal agreement.
Okay. And we do have those interlocal agreements on file, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
With all of the
They
counties?
need to be re-signed right now, they're running out. And Laughlin's is running out. They called me and they're getting the paperwork. And they all need to be re-signed because they are running out.
Okay, great.
Now that he brought that up, when we took off to go to Eagle Pass 2 years ago, right? So do we need to look at those documents again?
What do you mean look at them again?
We'll see if they're current.
I think the chief's gonna do that, right? You're gonna look at them.
Well, I mean, our road crews took off. So is it, so
When they had the big flood.
Interlocal will work?
We didn't have an agreement then, that was an emergency
It was an
situation.
emergency.
As long as they declare a natural disaster, then we can do whatever we need to do.
But we do have.
But it wouldn't hurt to relook at them.
We could.
Chief,
Yeah.
they're asking if you would make a list or let them know which interlocal agreements we have and which need to be renewed.
Okay, Carroll County, Ozona, Crockett, Sutton, Real, Edwards, Eagle Pass,
And the base.
and Laughlin, and National
The
Park.
document that they prepare for them, will that cover the whole county? In other words, if we get called, is it gonna cover my road crew to be able to go?
The interlocal agreement will cover the whole county, but I don't know if the insurance will.
It'll cover the insurance if they're trained properly to do what they're doing.
And my concern right now would be the fire, would be the road crews, like we take off on a flood or stuff like that. And they're trained to use the tractor, the dump trucks, everything like that.
It all depends what the use of that, what that piece of machinery is being used for. I visited with area this morning. If it's being used to cut a fire line, they're firefighting.
Okay, no, that's what I'm saying, it wouldn't have anything to do with fire. If our road crews go, they're trained to use the dozer, and then they're trained to go ahead and when we're doing, like flood, the other day when they had debris during the flood, I mean, we went in and picked up the debris just like we do here, just like we did 2 or 3 weeks ago or whatever. I mean, they know that part of their job.
If it falls within their job description,
then they're
covered.
Louis, they really need to take that S-130 wildland course because it teaches you how not to get trapped like California.
And I think Roger,
I've
you're
got
working
that
on that
lined
right
up.
now, and he's supposed to be getting with you to take care of that.
All right.
And Commissioner, the interlocal agreement is just for firefighting. You understand that, right?
And that's what that was my question. If we need to do something to make sure that we're covered. Either we type up an interlocal and then bring it back, that way we can send it to the surrounding counties.
We do have some, like the chief said, but some are going to expire.
Okay.
Or we can just add fire and/or natural disasters. Or not.
We have to look at it, but natural disasters, I guess, I mean, or you might need a separate one for that, I don't know.
Well, the one
As
that I
long as it's a
use
governmental function and you're
is put out by
entering
the
into an agreement
Forest
with
Service.
another government agency, then you can have an interlocal agreement.
Okay.
Do you have more, Commissioner?
Go ahead.
I'd like us to look at, we've had the same road crews for a very, very long time. And we need to look at adding some people to it. I'd like to see us add one position. Let me find it. To each road crew to move. And I'll find it.
153 is here.
There we go. To take and create an assistant foreman position and to add one more individual and move all drivers to light equipment operators and the new position to be a light equipment operator to each road crew. And the assistant foreman position would be paid at, starting at 35.
And they would have an established base salary.
35, established base salary.
Is there a reason why the foremen don't have a base salary?
You asked?
That was a big battle a long time ago that we had about
Right.
all the foremans being all over the place, and the court at that point decided that all foremans would be paid the same, and there would be no base salary, whatever that salary was, that's what it was.
But is there a reason y'all haven't changed that? I mean, everybody across the county has base salaries, and elected officials have to come over here and ask for the commissioners to let them use monies in their budget to increase the starting salary.
What was done at that time is the base salary for that position is the current salary of that position.
But that can be changed. And that,
No, I
what I'm
understand
saying,
it
it's
can be
not
changed.
fair that we have to come in and ask for money to be moved in order to up our starting salaries. And of course, number one, y'all don't have to ask, and number two, you're the one that votes on it, so it just doesn't seem right.
It don't seem fair, does it?
Not at all.
I like the way it is set right now, but now it don't seem fair, but I like the way it is.
Well, I mean, that's a decision the court can make. I mean, I remember how we got to that point.
I do too. And I remember who benefited from it.
I mean, we can leave the pay as it is for the road crews and just add an extra employee as a truck driver or light equipment operator. That way nobody gets bent out of shape.
Well, what she's talking about is something totally different than, she's talking about the foreman's position, not
Well,
adding
the
new.
foreman-
Well, and let's get to the part about adding positions. You didn't, well, we can go on and on, but the court has their employees, the court has the power, and the court is using the power in a way that's not consistent with that power being used for the rest of the elected officials.
In what manner?
Number one, you don't have base salaries for your foreman. Number two, you didn't have to argue for additional employees before the budget hearing. It's coming up for the first time right now. So the other elected officials weren't aware that they could ask for additional employees.
I think everybody here was very clear that they could ask.
Now, during the budget workshop, when y'all were saying it's too tight, that there's not money for this, there's not money for that.
That's my recommendation. If the court wants to adjust it,
Isabel, you're asking for an assistant foreman at 35 and another light equipment
we'll just
operator.
create an assistant foreman at 35 starting pay, and then this creates a new position, and you still have your heavy equipments and your light equipments, and the drivers move to light equipment.
That, well, first of all, I do agree with the base pay for our foreman coming in. But having an assistant foreman, Commissioner, what if we have a vacancy at the foreman position? And there is someone better qualified than our assistant foreman?
Hire whoever you want, I mean.
Would that be opening up another kind of worms, Councilman?
In your department, it would, legally it would.
More with morale.
Yeah, y'all do it all the time. They might as well do it again.
And you don't, if you don't want to create it as that, then create a heavy equipment operator position. Doesn't matter to me.
On the base pay, Gus,
Yes, sir.
or Commissioner Flores, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You had asked, even when you brought in your foreman, to be able to bring him in at less money.
Yes, I sure did.
I'm sitting here, that is the only position that we don't have a base pay. When you looked at the difference between the foreman and next in line heavy equipment operator, I mean, all of them are different. The dollar amounts are different. I mean, if we were gonna set a base pay for the foreman and to take care of that, I mean, it would need to be probably around between $40,000 and $45,000 for base pay. And that would
Well,
eliminate that.
Commissioner Owens, that's in the position I'm in right now. I don't have a foreman. And if I do hire one or promote one, I like to bring them in at 43 to make it fair to the other foremen that've been here 15, 20, 30 years.
Well,
Put that in the form of a motion.
I make a motion that the base pay for the foreman be set at 43.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion, question? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
4-1.
Thank you, Commissioner Owens.
No, it's actually something Commissioner Flores did.
Thank you,
I
Commissioner.
know, but y'all been battling that.
Thank you both of you.
Giving me a hard time.
Commissioner Owens.
Or you have another?
You realize that you're not going to have the $10,000 differential to split between your other employees.
What is that, Frank? It's there, the money's there. The money's
Here we
there.
go.
No, it's not going to be. October 1st, that $10,000 is
Goes
gone.
away.
Okay, so I need to promote or hire somebody like tomorrow.
If you do, then Hilda needs to come back up, and y'all need to give her person that money.
Yeah, but this is money, what we did with Hilda last year, was we didn't start that lady at base pay.
This is a different deal. This is a different deal.
If it has to-
If you're going to do it, let's do it consistently. If you're going to give everybody all that money, then let everybody else come up and do it.
You know, I've been out of foreman for about a month or so.
I understand.
So,
This is not fair.
the payroll, the county has been saving money on that salary.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay, so that money belongs to precinct 4 payroll.
That money belongs to Val Verde County.
Well, that's right, but it belongs to precinct 4 payroll.
No, it does not.
I can tell you, if you're gonna do it, I'm bringing her back up, and we're taking that item, and I'm gonna give her what she wants, because it's the same thing.
She actually got more than what she wanted.
And we keep saying this is what got us in trouble in the first place, and we cannot continue going back to it.
It's
I just want to
exactly why I don't wanna have
understand,
to do
because
this.
I know that's what you wanted, but you wanted to utilize that $10,000. If you do that, it's not fair to the other departments in Val Verde County.
So what are we gonna do with 10,000?
It's back in the
Go
general.
back in the kitty.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and
I can't win.
You did win.
Well, you got
No, I
exactly what you
didn't.
wanted. You wanted your foreman,
Yeah,
that's money.
of course, but,
You got exactly what you want. I sat on this court 12 years ago and we had this discussion. Where we're at. I'm gonna make a motion that we create a position for each road crew and a light equipment operator. With the base pay set at whatever the base pay is for that position.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Okay, any more questions, discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right,
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. 2. 2-4.
it's 3-2, y'all win.
Okay. Okay, any other question on the budget?
With regards to budget, if I may speak,
Sure.
are you gonna start a lot of stuff up?
it's nothing to do with payroll.
Sure.
I had given Judge Valdez, and I apologize, but it's not on the agenda, my boss isn't here to guide me through this, but I presented Judge Valdez with a memo on Friday asking that capital outlay be put back into HR's budget at $2,500, which has been the same amount for the last 3 years.
What did we do with capital outlay?
We put the capital outlay that was an original request in. There should be a listing back. Should be, yeah, it's on, it ends on page 158 and starts on page
Hers is on 158.
156.
Human Resources is on 158, and that's what we're talking about.
It was taken out for 1600.
There was 2 fireproof file cabinets that were not allowed.
And the conversation was, since we were all going to the paperless, why did we need the fireproof cabinets? That's the reason it was taken out. So what are you going to do with it now?
Well, we are currently undertaking a scanning project to get all of our files electronically. So we are probably going to need a higher capacity scanner because we're going to take all of the personnel files in compliance with the years that we need to keep certain records, health records, personnel records, they all vary. And so we're trying to organize that with our thoughts first, that we are going to need probably a larger capacity scanner because we have 2 filing cabinets of old personnel records that need to get into this new hard drive. Additionally to that, we're going to need to buy an additional storage device to hold that, and it's not just a thumb drive.
So what's the actual cost? Do we have an idea?
We were looking at around $1,500 for the cost of those.
But you said 25.
Well, I'm asking just to have what we've had in the last 2 years. To tell me no.
What do you need to do what you're trying to do?
I'm sorry?
What do you need to do what you're trying to do?
The was $1,500.
That's for the scanner and for the additional
That was for a
hard drive.
higher capacity scanner and a larger hard drive.
They'd actually asked for 1,600, we took out the whole 16.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem putting it right there.
And I guess I would just ask for the additional 1,000 on top of that as a means of a backup, so we don't have to come up and ask for money or ask to shift money around.
But it's going to cost you about $1,500, $1,600.
That is what we have.
I'd make a motion to give her the 1,600.
Second.
There's a motion, second. Mr. Middleton. Any more questions? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nobody?
Did you get that?
Aye.
Right. Did you get that?
Yep.
On the capital outlay for the precincts, are we just going to handle that with a tax note? Or?
That was my understanding at the last discussion. That's why I didn't put any capital outlay in.
Could we get an idea? Or we want to tackle that later? All right, capital outlay, do we need to get an idea now, or could we tackle it later? Or?
It's not necessary to do it now.
Okay. Any other discussion of the budget?
Just real quick if I can.
Sure.
It's having to do with personnel. To give an accurate reflection of where individuals are assigned, I'd like to request to move a position. James Riddle, he's assigned to actually the transport
What page is
division.
that?
I don't know, I've got this blank, got no numbers on it.
Where's he at?
He's actually assigned to the transport division, but he's shown on paper in the patrol division.
140, 140, 139, 140.
To accurately reflect where he's assigned.
Transport is on 139. Who was it again?
Riddle.
Well, it's right there.
So no, because he's shown up here, Commissioner.
He's gone right here.
Okay.
He's under the patrol division. Page 139, he's under the patrol division. Jay Riddle.
What are you going to do with him?
Just, he's assigned to, he has been assigned to the transport division, so to show an accurate reflection of where he's
So
assigned
there's
to.
no changing of money, this
No.
just, you need to just move him.
Should move the position where into the transport.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion for that?
He's not moving any money or anything, he's just moving it down.
I prefer to put in a form of motion so I can, when I move it, the things that I'm moving have all been motion.
I'll make a motion to move Jay Riddle from patrol division down to transport.
There's a motion.
And there's no change in
Salary.
salary.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Gamon. Any other question, discussion? Not all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
So basically, you're losing one patrol deputy and adding a transport deputy.
Yes, the position is coming down. I'm not gaining anything.
Okay.
Are you gonna come back? Are you gonna come back?
No.
Okay, any other discussion on the budget?
I address the question.
Sure.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify my position when I requested that the court reestablish the employee that I so unwisely relinquished 2 years ago. You know, I think that our department, you don't hear a lot of, I've never heard anybody tell me we're not doing our job. I hear a lot of people when we have an unfavorable discussion with them about some type of enforcement, might call you and say, I didn't like what was handed down in Cerny's office. Well, I guess we're doing our job in those cases. The purpose of that person was to go back and be able to be proactive, number one, in enforcement. Number two, to be able, like this month, or this week rather, the assistant is out on annual leave. We have different places that both myself and our lead tech have to go, and there'll probably be a sign on the door referring to the judge's office, which I can clarify. I always notify you where I am first. Anyway, that was the purpose of this. You know, when I'm out, a lot of my time in the office is spent in things that are assigned me by the various commissioners that require more than just a simple phone call. For example, recovering $250,000 for the sheriff on an 11-year-old piece of equipment that was previously damaged required more than one phone call. The hours spent researching information and documentation on water project, Minister Vito Estates, to assist Commissioner Ramon. I believe Carl Esther can tell you how many days we worked on that. And the same goes for what I've been working on your project out there with Mr. Springfield, the research and that. So I am sometimes tied down in the office on some assignment given to me by a commissioner or by another elected official. It might even be the county attorney's office. So that was the purpose of that. But I understand that there's constraints. I understand there's other places that the money needs to be spent. Thank you very much for hearing me out.
To anybody else?
Maybe I ought to bring this up, because I don't know for sure. You know, I come to your office the day we were awarded the new fire truck, and I called and got the bids on it, stuff like that. And I don't know if it's going to, in our next budget, or right now, if I got the money, I can do it. But the only thing we're going to have to come up with for a brand new 2015 F-550 fire truck is just a few dollars under $5,000.
Was that the money that we'd set aside in your capital outlay?
2 years ago.
But didn't we set another $6,000 aside?
In this budget.
In this budget.
Yeah, I don't know, what do you remember if that's in there?
We set aside $6,000.
I believe we had this discussion. I've got 6 in this one. This one.
I didn't know if that
I don't
was,
remember what we said in,
because the truck, they said as soon as we give them a purchase order number, it'll be ready in about 30 days.
So could we wait? I mean, we're 30 days away from the new budget.
Unless it's in the current budget, then there would be nothing preventing you from doing it.
I don't think it's in this
It's
current
not
budget.
in this year's budget. It was
It's
2 years ago when
He
we
might
applied.
have money in his regular supplies.
Jerry, could it be ordered October 1?
It could be.
That's
I
not
mean,
gonna,
it's gonna take them time to build it.
that's not gonna hurt the price or anything, is it? So wait until October 1?
Price should be locked in whenever we cut the PO.
They may sell the truck, I don't know. And then if I waited,
I thought you just said they had to build it.
well, they got the truck in San Antonio and they're gonna build it right there in San Antonio. But the truck is coming from Grande Ford because he's the COG member. And he may sell the truck, I don't know.
Do you
Brand new one.
Do you have, how much money, how are you doing on the funds that you have right now?
That's what I was asking Frank this morning. I didn't get a statement last time, so I don't know exactly how much I got.
It's just a matter of looking it up.
I should have a little bit left in there.
But you were telling me you had some things that you, some repairs.
Yes, and I still got some repairs to go.
And Lewis will take care of it.
No, you do this. This is the second rear end that second-hand truck that we bought, but that tanker has went out. And I don't understand why.
I'll check on his balances to see if it fits.
And Commissioner Moore brought up a good point. I mean, is anything that we're locking in, or we're gonna do the truck, and over
I don't want to lose the
Once
truck.
we do the PO, we encumber the funds in the current fiscal year,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be an expense.
It's not like
when the
before.
PO was initiated. So the PO couldn't be initiated until October 1st. But I'll check on your remaining funds to see if you have the money available. You
I think I
have quite a
do.
bit of money
I
available.
think I do. Because I'm pretty sure fuel, I'll probably need one more supply.
Yeah, no,
You know, we've been
I
using a lot of
think you
fuel
have
lately. And then the truck, last time I think it was around $3,000 when they fixed that truck. If I remember correctly. Anyway, thought I'd bring y'all up on that. I have a grant that wrote about 2 years ago, and it was approved by the court to accept and all that, you know. So I'd bring it up.
So if we can do it in this fiscal year, that's what we want to do, and then remove the 6,000 mark from this for the next year.
The whole thing is to make sure we don't do the truck.
Right.
The grant pays $45,000.
Thank you.
Truck's 49 something. Can't remember
I'm
exact
not sure I
figures.
want to remove the money in next year's budget,
Just leave it.
because you're fixing to hire some firefighters, we don't know what we have that we're gonna need as part of that.
If we have it in this year's budget.
The thing is, though, we have it specific for that truck. So if we move it to contingency, you can come back and ask for it. Unless we change the line item to this specific.
We can just change the line item to capital outlay.
Yeah. Okay, understand.
Tablets, or to purchase 8 tablets. And during that discussion, we were gonna purchase some, a couple of individuals were gonna purchase our own tablets. To be able to download the Tyler technology or whatever, that was my impression. Evidently, you can't. So I just for clarification, if you don't mind. I mean, basically, what you told me was that
I strongly discourage using anything other than county-issued equipment to access the Tyler database due to unnecessary risks and vulnerabilities that can be caused by equipment not properly maintained and such things.
So bottom line is, no.
That's my recommendations here.
Yours too?
That's mine.
Okay, I tried.
Do we have to get one? When you called me, I didn't know what the heck you were talking about, Ram, and I don't know if I even know how to turn one on. I thought you were talking about those big cheap tablets that they use in first grade.
You know, sometimes I think life was simpler back then.
It'll be easier.
I promise Commissioner Owens I try to do a better job of explaining myself when I talk technology. I don't try to overwhelm you with what I say, but what I was talking about is the Surface Pro 3s that IT can come and set up for you so that you can gain access to budgets and reports, the things that you have envisioned when we talked about this back in November. There's a lot of training involved that we're willing to offer to do along with the auditor's office. But it would give you the means to communicate from right here from this bench to the servers located at the on Bedell. And those would be county assigned and IT maintained equipment. And I apologize if I didn't do a very good job explaining that, but by the equipment being on domains and group policies, they just follow a certain set of rules. Where if you use personal equipment, they're just really, it's unnecessary for the amount of time and money invested into this project for something of that nature to cause for the servers to go down. And it's very possible. I mean, the IRS gets hacked. I mean, the Pentagon's frequently getting hacked. So they're just unnecessary risks that don't need to be taken by using personal equipment.
And the benefit is the ability to access information when we need it, when we're up here.
Yes, sir.
So I know the city council has them, and in watching them at their meetings, and they're all looking at their tablet, it makes you wonder if they're paying attention to what's being said, or they're paying attention to what just to what they have in front of them.
That's
I
true.
don't know, if the court wants it, that's fine, but
Well, I think I need one.
I feel all
If nothing else, order all 8 of them. I mean, I would think order all 8 of them, and then the commissioner doesn't really want it. I mean, I think once we figure out what we can do with it.
This is
it's
a
gonna be
step, no
great
doubt, in the
thing.
right direction, sir.
and you're gonna do the training.
Yes, sir.
It's not just to have sitting in front of you, it's for you to be able to access the purchase order system. And when you're out in the field, you're able to submit purchase orders electronically. That's where I see the main benefit coming. This technology that we are putting in has the capability of a court processing system, which is not in the current plan, but at some point in the future, that could be a possibility. It also would allow you, when you have questions concerning certain invoices, you could access those. It will bring up the actual invoice. You can see what items were required, who requested them. And so it would eliminate, not necessarily to have sitting right here in front of you, but you would have that access 24 hours a day for the Commissioner's Court to keep up with the information. Whereas the old system we had to send you reports in order for you to keep up. And now you're going to have that ability at your fingertips to access that information.
So instead of getting the bills, for example, the big old package, you would put it on that.
I'm still going to bring those bills like we had, but like if you had a question concerning the bill, you can access that bill and see all the detail from the purchase order to when it was received and who ordered it and what it was.
Counselor, and if we're at a conference, for example, and there's a problem or there's a purchase needs to be made, whatever, we all access our tablet at the same time, look at the same information, sign off or whatever on it. Is there a possibility of violations of the Open Meetings Act?
Well, I don't know if that would apply under that scenario, but obviously that, you run that risk. But you run that risk now,
Yeah.
even just with emails and text messages. So that's no different than the risk that the court is under right now anyway.
Yeah, but we wouldn't vote on anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. Under that scenario, I don't think that would be a problem.
I just, clarification, so I don't get one. I can't use mine, just to be perfectly clear. Nope.
The reason that I didn't want that to take place is because I wanted the same virus protections and controls on equipment that's accessing this very expensive technology that we're putting in place. And on a personal computer, I wouldn't have that level of protection.
Did you include these in the budget already?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, we have a court order, we've had a court order to purchase them.
That's correct. I forwarded all that information to Mr. Muskis, and he's got a copy of that court order along with the quotes and stuff from our vendor for the 8 tablets.
Judge Valdez,
Sure.
would you allow citizens comments?
Well, go ahead.
But just very quickly, my name is Sandra Fuentes, I'm with TVO. We're talking about technology. It's just an observation that, we've been in so many county commissioners court meetings, and it's actually quite embarrassing when you have visitors and they're trying to explain something to you, and we don't have the capability of perhaps allowing them to do a PowerPoint presentation. So what the visitor does, they go and they show a hard copy to and pointing things out. So while you're talking about technology, that maybe, I don't know whether that's already in the plans or
They've
not.
already bought, we actually have the projector or whatever, and we actually have the screen of it.
Very,
They've already purchased it.
that's just an observation. That was actually very embarrassing. And if I may, just very quickly, just for informational purposes and clarification, what the court just voted on as far as a salary increase for the commissioners, does that include, in addition to what was voted on last meeting, where it was a 5% rate for those that are earning No, so this is totally different.
Totally
You-
different.
It was not
No.
part of
Yeah, it's
that.
not, you're not gonna add that plus this.
Exactly, okay, good. That's clarification, thank you.
And one of the other things, Mrs. Fuentes, that we're looking at, that we're talking about technology, was actually getting a sound system for this area. And where we can all talk, and then I think this court, last year it actually said about trying to move this back in order to do the sound system. That way when you come up, everybody can actually hear what you're saying.
Very good, and the website, huge, huge plus, thank you for that.
Can we talk about that under this?
No.
No, I'm sure.
It's technology.
This was just to get the no from Ram 4 times?
He miscounted. This is my own report.
All right, next, we have item 14, accept a check from Kenny to Val Verde County Farm Bureau in the amount of $500,000.
500,000.
500, I wish.
Sorry.
Move.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lamont. Any questions? Not all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Nobody? All right, next we have to accept a check from Monty Finch, rancher in the amount of $300.
Move.
Second.
Moved and second by Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nobody opposed? And next, accept and donation of a fire truck from Comstock Fire Department. It shouldn't include fire department there, so
Move. Second.
there's a move and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed?
Judge, I got the third check in my pocket for $1,000. I gotta go through the grant committee, and that's $1,800 for that 5,000 for it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
We'll scratch it up.
Just
Next, we have a,
FYI, Jerry, you can't accept the check until it's gone to the grant review committee.
Yeah, well, they gave it to me, I got it in my wallet, I'm just
Or just don't.
waiting for the procedure.
Just don't let us know.
all right, next we have item 17, discuss the cost reduction and retirement contribution. Camille Cadena. Right?
Judge, Commissioners, what this was is, Ms. Cadena was hired on a temporary basis a couple of years ago to help with the CR 43 program. And then after that, she was put on as a regular employee, on a part-time basis. And so at that time, she should have been able to contribute to the retirement system. And
Where's she at?
she's in the sheriff's department.
But what page? Jay? Courtroom? No.
It's communal.
Page 140.
Huh?
Page 140
140.
under services.
Is this the position that was like making part-time and
Yeah.
a bunch of money or something?
Yeah, well, she was hired at $25.75 an hour. It shows on there, the CR 43 clerk part-time. Anyway, at that time that she was made a regular part-time employee, she should have been able to participate in the retirement system. And so she contacted my office about paying her matching portion and then for that period of time.
But like, the budget before this, I mean, wasn't that, she listed at 40-some odd thousand or something at one point?
No.
In this budget, right? And then it was a typo or something,
It was a
right?
typo, it was like
Yeah,
48,000.
okay. And that's like I was asking right now, just to be perfectly clear what she was making, because the last go-around, she was like at 40-some odd thousand.
But this, there has to be a resolution passed by court, and I apologize, I didn't realize this was on, I thought it was going to be on the regular Commissioners Court meeting. And so I will bring back the resolution, just to let the court know what that.
I thought part-timers didn't get benefits, right?
They changed that rule if the hours are over 900 in a year, then she goes over to 900. And so we have to offer that as a benefit.
For part-timers.
Could we, since it's in there, can we
So
actually
what are
do
you
it?
asking for?
He needs to bring a
Actually, I
resolution.
should have brought the resolution for that to be done.
So you can put it on Mondays and bring a resolution,
Yeah.
and we can adopt the resolution.
Or could we just go ahead and do it?
You
let
could do it
the-
now and then just
Yeah.
execute the resolution, so long as it's consistent with what you've asked.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lamont,
Second.
second Commissioner Opposed?
They don't get us confused.
Okay, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? Thank you. Do you have any, let's take a 10-minute break.
We're gonna read just.
Services, the building maintenance department for 36 months.
Oh, you know what, we do have some. Just a second.
Judge, you're already on this. This plan right here, we're fixing to set up communications between the fairgrounds and precinct 3 yard. This is the least expensive way of doing it. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the contract.
And there's a motion.
I'll second it, but I don't think we have a contract.
For the
Proposal.
I'm sorry. That we go forward with the proposal. Sorry about that.
We're going to get a contract?
Okay.
Judge to sign? Judge to sign.
Okay. All right. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody? Thank you. All right, next item 23, discuss possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank to apply for and accept the local border security program grant.
Move.
Second.
There's a motion, second. Any discussion? All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nobody. Item 24, Sheriff Joe Frank is requesting ratification of terminal agency agreement between Val Verde County Office and the following agencies: Secondary Day Consolidated Fed School District, Police District PD, and Del Rio Police Department.
Why are we terminating? I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, they're moved
That's
by
a ratification of terminal
Terminal, yeah.
agency, not.
Okay, this is,
You got a motion?
There's a motion and a second.
Okay.
The motion by Commissioner Ramon, second by
this is just to ratify a terminal agreement in case ours goes down or theirs goes down. We can use run the TLITs through them. That's all it is. We did something similar last week with DPS, just ratifying some agreements.
Okay.
And we have a new charge of security, right, for the school?
Yes.
Who was the charge?
They hired Dwayne, right?
Dwayne
Yes.
Holden.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any more question? Not all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody. Let's go to the addendum. Discuss possible action relating to TDA and USDA and/or Val Verde County agreements regarding the port pins. We need a motion for that, Anna?
No.
We don't need a motion for that? Do we have executive session or we don't?
No.
We don't. All right, if not, then any other discussion, and this meeting is adjourned.